What's up, brothers? Sean Don here. You're watching Garage Strength TV.
Throw that ass in a circle, circle. Throw that ass in a circle, circle. Throw that ass in a circle, circle. Throw that ass in a circle.
All right, so welcome to the Throw Show. We got Alan Davies here. He's a two-time Paralympic champ. He's got the world record in the discus and in the shot. He was a bronze medalist at the Paralympics in 2012 in the shot. He won the Paralympics in 2016 in the shot. You've got the Alan's got the shot and discus world record for his category. So Alan, thanks for being on the show, and I'm extremely excited. I think you could probably pick up on that just from my banter prior to the beginning of the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So Alan, can you explain to us, walk us through the category that you're in, what this means, you know, what your disability is, or I forget how David put it, that I thought was, he said, you know, everybody else is able-bodied, I'm just as able-bodied, but he had a cool little like motivational thing that was like, yeah, that's cool, because he's like, dude, I beat a lot of guys that are able-bodied in throwing.
yeah. Well, David was sick of his college years. He just didn't know anything about Paralympic sport. So
right.
It was a shame because God knows how far he could throw that 1.5 now if he'd been training all those years. Right.
So walk us through, you know, your background in sport. You were a swimmer.
Yeah.
But you know, walk us through what your category is and what your disability is.
Yeah.
You know.
So I compete in the F42 category, the F meaning field, and T obviously meaning track. And the 42s are the disabilities through the knee or higher. So basically, I was born with a disability called hemilia. So my right leg didn't grow, and it was wrapped around my neck. So they took my hip out the right side to create just a little bit of bone underneath my knee, and I had no ligaments. And then I've used strapping and manual growth throughout my life to kind of get the leg to grow ever so slightly. But unfortunately, there's no articulation, no muscle growth, and there's no ligaments. So, you know, the leg is seen as dead from the hip down, and I compete against people with a similar disability or an amputation. But obviously, with the amputees, they've obviously got blades, and it's hard to compete against that. So I wear a prosthetic leg that I put my right side into. Okay.
So when you started off, you know, as an athlete, you were in swimming, and walk us through how you got into swimming and why.
So obviously, when I was born, I came out of the womb and my leg was wrapped up around my neck, almost like choking me out in a sleeper hold. And they broke it in 17 places, just to kind of get it to go straight down. And that seemed to do the job, but I couldn't walk, I couldn't weight bear, you know, I hopped around. So they stuck me in the swimming pool because it was non-weight bearing. And my brother was an international swimmer, so, you know, that sibling rivalry where I wanted to beat him. And it kind of just grew from there. I mean, swimming was so boring looking back at it, just going up and down. It's one thing I love about throwing is the variation of training you do. But in swimming, I was just going back and forth. But it put me on a level playing field to everyone else. And I loved that because I didn't feel like I had a disadvantage. And I became pretty good. I got onto like a development program at a young age, and I thought I was pretty shit hot. And I went to the GB national champs, got selected for the team, went to the Euros, and I swam a lifetime best in the Euros and came last in the heats. So that's when I knew, like, okay, these guys are next level.
Right.
Maybe this is not the sport for me. And went to a talent ID to see what I was good at.
Do you think that helped you? Because one thing I pointed out even when I did this talk in Wisconsin, and I used you as a technical model just on how well you move out of the back and into the front and how well you stay on the finish. But I just pointed out, like, look at the size of your shoulders and how, you know, muscular you are up top. Do you think swimming had any impact on that, or is that just, you know, something genetic that you're gifted with for being so hypertrophic?
No, when I was about 18, I was only about 11 stone, I think about 80 kilos. So, you know, I was quite light, and the thing is with swimming, it gave me this ridiculously good range and extension in my shoulders, and because when I was swimming I couldn't move my right leg, I used to just tie it to my left leg and just use my whole upper body to swim, and just use my legs just dragging behind me. So everything's always been upper body. I mean, even now when I'm going downstairs, I use my arms. So, you know, it's all those little things in life, like hopping out of the bath, you know, 2 hands on the side, pop up. So it's just using my upper body to do everything. So I think that's one thing that, you know, I've tried to do over the years is utilize my left leg a lot more. Now it's key to what I do.
Right, that's crazy.
So how did you get interested in throwing then? What got you into the shot on the disc?
So I went to a talent identification just after Athens 2004, and I tried cycling, rowing, and something else. And they basically said, "Oh, look, you've got a really good power output, so let's put you in something explosive." And you know, I was really good at sprint cycling and rowing, but I just thought, nah, it's so boring, Joe. It's just not me. And I went to track and field. I didn't know nothing really, if I'm honest, about field. I knew about the long jump and the high jump, but nothing to do with throws. You know, you see it on TV and whatnot now and then, if you're lucky. But yeah, I saw this. I saw a load of people doing it. I went over, and they were like, "Oh, just have a throw of that." And they put a discus in my hand, and you know, I did a standing throw, and they asked me if I'd done it before, and I said no. And they said, "Oh, we reckon you could be pretty good from that." And you know, it started there, the age of like 14, where I was doing it once, twice a week for fun. But 9 months after I started, I went to the Junior Worlds, and I won a bronze in the shot in 2006. So, you know, that's when people started to think, "Oh, this guy, you know, he's competing under 18 level. He's only 14. Maybe, you know, see what he can do." And that's when people started putting kind of effort into developing me then.
So how does that whole system work in Great Britain? Like you're saying, like the talent identification, like we don't really have anything like that, you know, here. Like how does that work, and is the athletics through like a club over there?
No, so I was hungry for success. I knew that I had a hidden talent. I just didn't know where it was. And I was adamant that I was born to do something. There must be something that I'm good at, because you know, it's not swimming. And I worked my bollocks off with that, and I didn't get to where I wanted to be. And in 2005, when they announced that London was going to get the games, I was just like, yeah, you know, it's in my back garden. It'd be rude not to be there. I just didn't know how I was going to get there. And yeah, the talent ID is you basically go along. They do like the CMJs and ISO poles, and they just do all these kind of different measurements. Your power, you know how it's almost like a combine that you guys have in the NFL. It's quite similar to that. And then they kind of filter you from there into different sports. And there's one thing Britain's really good at is that if you're not good at one sport, they'll kind of recycle you and try you in another. And there's so many, like we see it here, there's a lot of netball and female netballers who are like 6 foot plus. You just think, shit, imagine if you did discus. So it's stuff like that. And that's how, you know, I came about. They saw that I was powerful, and they originally wanted me to try and do long jump or something, but realised that I couldn't run. Yeah, so I ended up in throws. And yeah, I mean, I was going to Cardiff Club, Cardiff being the capital of Wales, and the local athletics club there, and working with a small group. And I think the hardest thing for me was accepting that I was disabled, but I didn't know anything about disabled sport, parasport, and they were like, "Well, have you ever tried it? Have you ever seen this?" And I went along, and I was so like, "Nah, I'm not like these guys. I'm not like these people." Do you know what I mean? I'm not like that. It's really hard for me to accept. Like, I didn't wear a pair of shorts until I was like 16, 17. You know, I was always hiding. I'm really good at hiding my disability. Like, obviously the attitude's changed a lot now, but back then it was a really hard pill to swallow. But it was when, you know, I was starting to see people with the same kind of disability as me that I thought, oh wow, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. And so, you know, basically you sat there and you're like, all right, I'm going to prep for 2012 and I'm going to get there. And at that time, discus was your main focus?
Yeah, it was, I was doing athletics, started in 2005, and that's the year the games got announced, and I was only doing it probably twice a week for about 2 years, and then I think I went to university then when I was 18. I moved out of home, moved to Cardiff, where I started training pretty much all the time, and it was 2010 where I got double gold in the Junior World Championships, broke 2 Junior World records, and I also qualified for the Senior World Champs, but because I wasn't highly ranked and very inexperienced and young, I didn't get selected. And I remember going up to the old head coach at the time, Pete Erickson, and just being like, look, just give me a chance. You know, I'm so competitive. I know if I get in there, I'll fucking go nuts, and I'll bring home some decent silverware. And they were like, all right, but you're like ranked 12th in the world. So I remember going to that World Champs. Then I got someone dropped out through injury, and I got pulled in. I was like second reserve or something. So you know, I was quite lucky that I got in that team, and I went in. I came 4th in the shot put because I was so small back then. I didn't have no size, and I was competing against like some monsters. And you know, with shot put, you just need years. You know, I mean, years and years and years. So with discus, I had the elasticity, a good feeling for the plate, and you know, luckily it was only a 1.5 kilo discus, so you know, I could get away with, you know, just getting quick across the ring. And I remember I did a lifetime best in the 3rd round to make top 8, and then I went lifetime best in the last round throw to go from 8th into bronze, which was a massive throw for me, and people couldn't really believe it. And I later, you know, a bit controversial, got upgraded to a silver because, you know, the Dirty Russian got done.
Oh, shit, no way. There's a surprise. There's a real big surprise. Hopefully we have Russians watching this right now.
I don't really give a shit. You make the bed, you sleep in it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know, it was. I then came off the podium with my bronze medal at the time, and I was like, look, it weren't just about making 2012 now. I was fearless. I mean, I was 18, 19, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, I had all this confidence, and I was just like, you know, get me in there. If you put me on the program, get me in the world class performance program, I'll bring you back something decent in the Paralympics. So, you know, I was put on the program, and I put my degree in university on hold. I was living with 6 of my friends in a shared house in uni, so I had to move out because, you know, that was just beers all the time. You know? So I had to move out of there, and I got my own flat. I took out all these loans to make sure that, you know, I could, you know, put myself in the best position. And I just invested everything I can. I kind of lost a lot of friends as well. It was just one of those things that I had to sacrifice because I wanted it so much. And you know, there was days where I was like, shit, I hope this is worth it. Do you know what I mean? If it doesn't go to plan, it'd be so demoralizing. But yeah, you know, I took myself away from there, and I was given the opportunity to train full time all the way up to the games then for about, I think it was 18 months. So yeah, give me a good crack at it.
So when you, I mean, obviously you're a gamer, because every big PR you've had, I feel like, has been at, you know, one of these monstrous, you know, world champs or the Olympics.
Yeah.
Are you still like, so you win discus? I guess first, like you win the discus in 2012, and then you lose. You get, not that you lose, but you get 3rd in the shot. And what, you know, what was your takeaway from that as a competitor? Like, was that more like, all right, well, I performed in the discus, I bring home gold, I become the Paralympic champ, but I'm only, you know, 3rd in the shot. So now does that motivate you more towards 2016 all the way up till the present point? Because my next question is, are you still training discus, or is it mainly just shot?
So I'm just a full-time shopper now.
Okay.
I'm just focusing on that because, you know, I'm going to do it, but it's just going to take more focus and time. Is 20 meters. When I get to 20 meters with the 6, which we should do in the next couple of years, you know, And for me, then I want to qualify able-bodied for a Commonwealth Games. Spent the last year focusing on the 7, and it's kind of fucked everything up with the 6. But we're coming back now anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I just wanted to see how far I could throw the 7. So, yeah, I mean, the ironic thing was the shot was before the discus in 2012. So going into the shot, but I know I was out of my depth. I mean, you had the reigning Paralympic champion Jackie Christiansen, who was obviously working with John Godina and that's Simon something from Denmark. Anyway, and he was a 17-meter thrower. He was like leagues above me, and I knew I couldn't compete with that. So you know, and I was only young, and Jackie was in his late 30s, so he was just at the end, just staying healthy. You know, he knew how to do it all day, all night. So it was kind of a battle for the minor medals, but I was actually in 5th place until the last round, and I managed to hit when I overtook the Chinese fella to take the bronze medal. And it was weird because I kind of completely forgot about the competition, because for me, Paralympic sport over the years, you know, it's never really got any attention, but 2012 kind of catapulted it about 20 years forward. You know, we had all this PR, we all were getting sort of like famous, and we're getting all this hype, and you know, we sold out the stadium 70,000 every day for the Paralympics, which has never happened. You know, the record before that was like 21,000 in Sydney. So, you know, it wasn't just a small record, it was a game changer. It was every day, morning sessions, afternoon sessions. You know, Britain had like this Olympic fever after the able-bodied Olympics. So, you know, there was a lot of people who watched on TV and missed out, and they were like, oh shit, there's another chance, we got the Paralympics, let's just go watch that. So for me, you know, I remember just walking out. I remember being in the gangway, and I could hear crowds. Obviously, we were away for weeks, so we didn't see the hype back home. You know, we weren't really watching the game, so we were just focusing on getting ourselves ready. And I remember being in the gangway, and I could hear chanting and stuff, and I always describe it like a scene of Gladiator, you know, when they're waiting to go out. And, you know, I was like that. I was behind Draco Krauls, the other, the crow, and he turned around, he went, this is pretty cool. And and he'd been doing Athens, Sydney, Beijing, and I remember walking out, and no one knew who I was, but I had Great Britain on my back, and the whole place. I'd never been in a situation where I couldn't even hear the thoughts in my head. It just absolutely blew me away, and I just remember thinking, "Holy shit!" I didn't even remember why I was there. So, you know, I think if there was any technical input thrown my way that day, it was just out the other ear. Because for me, it was raw adrenaline, and I was so happy with my bronze medal, because I was ranked so low going in, and I was like, "Oh my god, I've done it! I've got to a home games. Not only I've got a medal." So,
okay.
I know my stronger event was discus at the time, so it was kind of, I was sad after the shot, but because I was just like, geez, you get to see, like, you know, your football stars over with you, the soccer stars over with us. They get to do this like every week.
Yeah.
They get out in front of these guys every week. You know, I might not ever see this kind of stuff again. So I was like, I was kind of itching. It was almost like a drug. I was like, I got to get back out there. I can't wait. Sunday, you know, and 2 days later, I was going in a disc. So, you know, I barely slept those 2 days, because I could not wait to get back out there. And I just got out there, and, you know, the Iranian, who was the world record holder, he came around first round. I remember he unleashed a personal best, and he just turned around screaming, and he was pointing at me, and I was like, all right, yeah, let's fucking go. You know, it was really good. We were all bouncing off each other. The atmosphere was electric. And I went in there, I did the same thing first round, and he carried on like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round PB in little bits at a time. So consistent. I had 4 fouls after that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't handle it. I was just this kid just trying to go nuts. So, you know, I remember going in last round, and I was watching the throw, and I was thinking, you know, I was going round by round. I was like, right, I'm guaranteed at least 7th, 6th, 5th, and then it got to the medals. I was like, oh my god, I'm guaranteed at least a bronze now. Then he threw, and I was like, oh, it's at least a silver. And then it got to the Iranian. I was like, this is the only guy that can take a gold away from me. This is surreal. I could not watch. And I remember I was facing away from the cage. My head was in my hands, and the disc goes up, and it lands, and you can just hear the whole. You watch it on YouTube, you can hear the whole stadium just go quiet and go ooh. And I'm like, oh shit, he's had me, innit? This last round throw had me. Because I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to respond if he's gone bigger. Yeah. I was so inexperienced, and I remember just like looking over my shoulder. I was looking into the crowd. Everyone was like, had flags for their mouths. Came up to the scoreboard that he was like three centimeters short of where I did, and I just remember turning like, holy shit! Like, I threw my water up in the air. I was going crazy. The whole place was going crazy. And then they were like, oh, you know, you got one more throw, and I was like, nah, fuck it, I don't want it. I want to run. But yeah, I ended up going back in. And I did like, I was like, okay, I got so much adrenaline in my system now. I'm just gonna just walk around the ring. So I literally just pushed my left heel out, went bang bang, got my left down, and just did like a fixed foot. And I ended up pulling through, and I broke a European record and won by 1.5 meters.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely crazy. I just remember running out onto the infield and just thinking, shit, yeah, this is why all those years, everything that's done, this is why I've done it. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I just remember looking around. If I could, I would have thanked every single person that day, but. You know, it was a moment that kind of inspired me, also kind of gave me the reward of so many years of hard work.
And almost like I would say that's almost like a catapult for your career, even where it's like, okay, now I know the hard work has paid off, and it's also like, you know, if you could use that shot put comp to that Sunday discus comp, it's almost like that's similar where, you know, London to Rio or London again to London. It's like dangling that carrot out in front of you. And now it's like, okay, now I know that hard work has paid off. Now I want to take it even further in now with your shot career. So that's where it's just.
I mean, I look back at 2012 and, you know, I don't even think of myself as an athlete then because I was just a kid. You know what I mean? I was fearless. Everything was emotional. Everything I did was emotional. Everything was just fearless. You know, I remember being in the call room and just looking at everyone and being like, well, who's coming second? You know, I was that cocky, like that arrogant. I was adamant I was going to win. And, you know, it kind of worked in my favor, but I'm not like that now, which is bizarre. You know, for me now, it's not really about winning anymore. It's seeing how far, you know, how far can I throw? How much can we push this with what we've got? You know, it's taken a lot longer because obviously there's a lot of things I can't do, but we work around that. And, you know, for years it's just been trying to find a technical model and building a leg that's going to help me achieve what I can do. But yeah, I mean, it was that 2012 experience changed my life overnight. Literally changed my life overnight, and it changed Paralympic sport forever as well. It's a lot different here in the UK than anywhere else in the world. You speak to David, you know, here his favourite place to come and compete is over here. Like, everyone wants to come to Britain because, you know, it gets the respect it deserves. It's a shame that the other countries are not like that. Even in the US, you know, the para guys are just not recognised. And unless you're high up in that position in your sport, you'll recognise a Paralympic athlete through, you know, just being in Chula Vista, and you have the different, you know, like your Jeremy Campbells, your David Blairs, your Hagen Laundries, all of them just, you know, kind of training alongside able body, but they wouldn't be recognised away. And it's a shame because in Britain we kind of, you know, all I've ever wanted to be, even though I've won London, I just wanted people to go, you're the thrower guy. I don't even want people to know my name.
Yeah.
I never, and now, you know, I get that. So, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm very grateful. I'm very lucky to have kind of come around when the sport is growing. And yeah, I'm just trying to throw as far as possible, man.
But couldn't you say that a lot of that is also could be attributed to you, like the fact that you bring the energy as well, and you reciprocate the energy, and you put that effort in too. Where, you know, one thing that I think, and David even brought this up, is like before, you know, maybe up till Sydney, guys were competing, but there wasn't support, so it was like, oh well, they were running these normal jobs, and then they would go train on the side. Whereas now it's like, you know, you guys are training just like an able-bodied guy, and like you had said, now you're training along these guys, and you're putting in just as much effort. So you, I mean, I believe guys like you are very much responsible for the growth of the sport too. It's not, you know, I think it's a little bit of both. So
yeah. Well, thank you. And I mean, like the F44 discus, for example, is up there with one of the most able-bodied kind of events in the paras, and you know, that's what I'm trying to do with the shot at the moment is just to get it out there. And you know, it's you see the energy that the field eventers and able-body bring, and you know, you guys are like the best when it comes to shots. You know what I mean? You got the best throwers. You know, you got people that actually come to see shot. And I think in track and field in general, it's kind of always been second. Field events always second, and I think, you know, when I'm out there, I'm like, right, how can I get everyone to make sure they're watching this comp? And you know, I become a different person when I compete. Do you know what I mean? I prepare every round for my rival to go further than me. So yeah, it's more like being emotionally drained after a comp more than anything.
So that sort of brings me in, because one thing, you know, when that I want to know is, you brought up a little bit about the technical model. You mentioned it a little bit, and even with your mental preparation. But that's what I want to know is, like, when you're sitting here, you know, because so I use you at this conference as a technical model of how you know, to move well as an athlete, and for us, we might use Ryan Krauser or Justin Rohde, Reese Hoffa, you. Entering into the middle of the circle and like being as effective as possible and using every single thing that you can to get to the middle as quickly as you can, to stay on the finish as long as you can, and then just smash the finish. And I think that's where, you know, if you can walk us through, you know, what would be or who would be a combination of your technical model, and then walk us through what you're thinking when you're loading the shot in your neck, and you're in 2016 and you're like, all right, I'm putting the shot in my neck and I'm going 17 deep and I'm shocking the world. You know, not that you wouldn't be shocking the world, but I'm just going to show the world I'm going to go 20 meters.
No, you're totally right. Yeah, I mean, when I first came into the sport, the world record was like something like 1280, something like that, and I was just thinking. You know, I remember when I was first starting, I was standing for like 9-10 meters when I first started. So I thought, you know, that's going to be blown. But by the time I got to senior level, the world record was like 1440, and it was stood there for years. And for me, it was like, right, I can't use my right leg, you know. So what do we do here? So you know, we sat down with my coach, and we looked at a lot of throwers who have like almost like a lazy right leg, a pivot point, because that's all my right leg is a pivot point to try and get left. Because everything for me is left foot. Left foot is key. You know, getting out around, using that right.
Can I cut you off quickly? I think that is like like what you just said. Okay, so you just said
I was going to say that
left to the left. I think the hardest part of coaching any able-bodied thrower is getting them to control the left leg. And I think that's why your technique is so good, is because you come off of your left so well, because that's your strong leg and you know how to use it, and it gets down and you know how to use it on the finish. And I think that's like, I want you to keep going, but I want to just like cut you off and be like, dude, that's why you're so good. It's because of your left side, you know. And I'm sitting there like a light bulb goes off. Like, this just reaffirms like everybody's got to have a good left side.
That's why I think just with a lot of, you know, able-bodied throwers is that since they're starting with the right leg, they try and just take it through the entire throw, and it's like oftentimes it's just way overdone with the right leg, and you do need to really focus on the left, and just like you said, left to left, getting the left off, getting the left down to the front. And I think so many people just miss that then.
I mean everyone's different. I mean, people, you look at Krauser, not many people can do what he does. You know, the contact time he has on the shot is absolutely incredible, and I think all we've ever tried to do is right, we got this left leg, it's really good. So, you know, I start up, I'm already loaded on the left side, because my you know, the first movement for me is right, I'm on that left, and you know, my left heel will go out, and my right, as soon as my left heel starts coming up, my instant thought is to get my prosthetic right leg up, and it's almost kind of get into that linear position, almost like a Safrakan across the ring. And as soon as that left comes round, drop the knee and fucking go. Just go. Do you know what I mean? Push the right to the floor, because it's not going to do anything else. Pivot on that. Left down. Brake hard. You know, it's like a car crash going into a wall. Right? You know, bang, you're going to fly out the front window. And that's the way I think. Is just get that left down, bang, stay as strong as I can, hold that wrap, and then put about 3 weeks of time on the shot if I can.
I think that so okay. So your left leg, when you come off out of the back, and the right's, let's say the right's down, okay, in the middle, and the left's coming around. Do you want to think about your? Your left foot stays pretty low.
Yeah.
And it's like that left foot, to me, the left foot comes around and grounds, and because it's, and this just is me trying to interpret it, the left hits rotating, and it's like when that left hits down, it sticks down, and then that right shoulder just murders into your left foot. Is that a...
Yeah. That's 100% it. I mean, my technical model has been Dylan Armstrong.
Wait, who?
You know, I've always... Dylan Armstrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I trained with him.
So, oh, really?
Yeah, he was I trained with Dr. B in 07 and 08.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I know Dylan's technique well.
Not then.
Yeah.
So, you know how his right was always just like a quick pivot.
Yeah.
It was always in. And that's the kind of thing we kind of do, because my right leg is built of steel carbon fiber and fiberglass. So it doesn't move, but it takes a load. And it's built to a 55-degree angle, which we found after shitloads of force plates, biomech labs.
Okay.
That is the optimal angle. And it's mad to think that even if it's a 1 degree less or 1 degree more, how much of a difference it makes. But, you know, I think that getting the right has been the hardest part of my throwing career, because it can be the difference, you know. And for me, to throw far, yeah, the right can be right, but I throw from the back. You know, that's where my throw starts. It's the back. If the back is not set up right, nothing, it doesn't matter what the rest does. You know, if our left's not right at the back, you know, nothing connects.
So you mentioned about that wrap in the middle. Okay, so walk me through when the right hits and the left's rotating. Do you think? I mean, you could just tell me that I'm thinking too deep with this, but is the left down when you open the left arm, or is the left about to ground when you open that left arm, or is it just get the left to the front as fast as you can, hold it, open it, feel big stretch, murder?
Well, we try to put as much contact time on the shot as possible. So, you know, as soon as I pop off the back with the left, is keep the knees close and I left down as quickly as possible. And we do a lot of drills of like holding, almost stopping before I throw, because I try to get the left down and still be as wrapped up as possible, because then I can come through strong. And because I can't push the right, I've got to pull the left and kind of pull myself up with the hips. So everything is a completely different kind of throwing thought to how an able-bodied guy would throw, because, you know, that left would come down, the right hip would come in, and, you know, that. But for me, it's kind of like the left comes down, I've got to stay up tall on that, but also the hip's got to come in before the arm. So the left comes down and I'm holding the wrap. That's all I think about, is just holding the wrap for as long as possible. So
what do you think, though, from an able-bodied perspective? Because I think about this is like, when you just said that left gets down fast to the front, the left grounds fast and you're wrapped up, but then you open that left arm and you get into the left leg, and you almost described it, and I envision like this, pretend this is your left foot and you're pulling, you might be pulling with their feet to get your body to come forward. So your left's pulling and your body's coming forward. Why wouldn't an able-bodied person go, do what you're doing with your left? Okay, I'm going to pull and grab with my left foot, and I'm going to try and think about pulling my body forward, but at the same time, I'm going to push my right side while my left arm is opening, but I'm pulling with my left foot. Do you follow me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you get down into the power position, obviously, you know, the left comes down as quickly as possible. You're bracing up. You get into that strong T position, you know, where you're coming through. But I think if I could almost, you know, load that right more. Yeah. You know, and really pivot, turn that in the knee in. I know I throw a lot further, but obviously I can't do that. Right. So, you know, I mean.
But how you just said, he said the right knee in.
Through the finish, yeah.
So, you know, it's, for me, it's kind of, if I don't generate that linear speed, you know, I'm not going to get that left down hard and up on it, because, you know, if I do like a quarter turn, do you guys call it a wheel?
A half turn.
Like a half turn, yeah.
Yeah. So when I do that, like, that is hard for me,
Right.
You know, I've really got to pull up, and sometimes, you know, I'll be sat back here on my right leg, my hips are back there, and I'm just
Yeah.
so, you know, everything's got to be
On it.
into it.
Yeah.
It's something, and I think that's where left come from, because you can't half-half that, because I've only got one leg, right? So
Right.
I've got to fucking use it.
Right. Yeah, but I just think, like, I think that if more people, and this could be in favor that Dylan was my training partner and Justin Rohde was my training partner and Dr. B, you know, my model is essentially Justin and mixed with Hoffa and Krauser, but it's all influenced from Dylan and Dr. B. I think the way you just described it, and the way you move, and the fact that you will throw, I think you will throw 20 with the 6, and I think you will do what you want to do with the 7.
Yeah, I think realistically we're looking at about 17 and a half, 18 meters with a 7.
So
I went 16-10 last year.
So my whole thing is, it's like I just think that able-bodied people should be using what you just described. If they listen to this, they should listen to what you described with the left and use, maybe because, you know, your left is your dominant side. It's 100% of the throw. Maybe if they said 80 to 85% of their throw should be that principle that you just said, and then the right is the remaining. That's where that extra distance comes between the able-bodied to you, because you don't have your right leg. Yeah. I think the concept of what you're saying, though, makes complete sense. And if people can start to think about the throw the way you're thinking about the throw, dude, now all of a sudden the world record is 23.50 because they're throwing like, you use your left side better than everybody else because you have to. So we need to learn from you. Like, that's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, that's the thing that I always question, because I was born with my disability. I don't know any different. Do you know what I mean?
It's not a disability, it's life.
I always go to people, hey, if I had 2 left legs, I would fuck you up. But I don't. So, yeah, I always think, you know, like, if I can throw that far with just the one leg and really emphasizing on that left.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm almost getting pissed, because I'm like, you're thinking that way and you found the best technique. Dude, people don't think about technique like this. Like, they couldn't even fathom what you just said. They'd be like, what? Wait, what? I got to listen to this 6 more times to even grasp what you just said.
Yeah, just the fact that...
No matter how strong you are.
Just the fact that you're optimizing, like, every single, like, absolutely to the smallest amount, optimizing your left leg as possible. Like, we should, yeah, exactly. Like, there's no reason why everyone else shouldn't be trying to optimize their left leg as much as possible too. It's just that they're not focused on it because of the right gets in the, you know,
yeah.
But it's like, that's why we should be listening.
Who would you say has, like, the best leg out the back, able-bodied then?
I like Ryan. I like Krauser and Hoffa with their left. I think, but their left is similar to yours, where it's like, if that's their knee joint, their left foot stays below their knee, or right in line with their knee. It doesn't get super high. So when it gets really high, I think that's where it delays, because it takes a little bit longer to come up over top, and then they hit and they get off. Whereas you hit. And if you watch Krauser, you said about that contact time on the shot. Your contact time with that left leg down and on the hand, on the shots on the hand, is similar to Krauser, because you guys feel the left leg down and you feel the shot in your hand while the left leg's down. And I think that if that's a little different, because that's the finish. I think Rohde and Dylan really did a really good job with keeping that left down as well on the finish, along with Krauser. But if you could think about with the left leg out of the back, I like Reese out of the back, and I like Krauser out of the back. I mean, obviously there's a couple other guys, but I think those two have the best left leg, along with you. I think those are the 3 I use for my technical. Those were the 3 that were in my presentation.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought it's probably the most important part, in my opinion. I might be biased, but I mean, you look at Hartin when he won World Champs 2009. His left out the back.
So we use Harding in 09 and 011 as our discus model, and his left leg's the same as what you're doing. It is discus.
How he didn't break his ankle is beyond me.
Right.
His ankle that he went in, and it's not only just pivoting that and getting that heel out, though. It's dropping that knee so low, but keeping your hips above it and just shifting your hips through. I think, you know, if you can get that, you're laughing, man.
Yeah. I guess so. If you can, you know, if you can walk us through just so kids love to hear like weight room numbers and stuff like that and lifts. If you could walk us through like a week or two to 3 days of your training and what you're doing in the weight room. So one thing I mentioned to Trevor, I'm like, you look like in a 2017 video. I think that was the one in London. Yeah, where. Yeah, that's where you beat the Iranian guy again, right? For however many times in a row now. I think it's the same guy. You look like, to me, you could bench 220, 230 kilos. And that's what I want to know. Like, so I said to Trevor, is he trying to get a super big bench? And then also, because I watched some of your training videos where you are snappy with some stuff too. Are you going to be a little bit stronger up top because of the lack of the right leg? And what are you doing in training? How are you improving, leg strength? And we work with a couple para guys without limbs up top that still do Olympic lifts, even with like a cool contraption that they can put on the bar. But that's why I just wanted to see, like, what are you doing in the weight room, leg-wise? What are you doing in the weight room, upper body-wise, so we can share that with everybody as well? Because that's like...
So, I don't really do 1 rep maxes. I mean, I just try to shift a heavy too. So I've done... That's a lie, actually, because I did do a 1 rep max last year off bench, and I did 240. But my...
240 bench?
At the moment, So at the moment, we're just trying to do, like... 200 for 2, just like really fucking quick. And the goal is to like as quick as possible, just moving that, because I know up top I'm strong enough to throw a long way, but we do all the lifts. I do it all through single leg, so I'll almost catch it on my left leg with my right leg out to the side, but I only do like a hang clean and I do a hang snatch. My hang snatch, because obviously you've got to get under the bar, I can't. I'm pretty much standing into a fucking front raise, and I kind of duck a bit. But I've done 115 on that. My Olympic lifts are the hardest, and I've done 160 hang clean.
I think this is also big because this is something that people. First of all, you're acting like these aren't big numbers. 115 hang snatch and a 160 clean. That's stupid.
Only 240.
But we'll have people argue with us about Olympic lifts, and I'm sitting here going, dude, you've got one leg in your hang snatch and 115. So if anybody's listening on throws you, like, you are the best in the world. You're the best that has ever walked the planet in your category. You're arguably the best technical model that somebody can follow. If you want to hold good technique, you got to snatch 115 and you got to clean 160 on one fucking leg. Like that's
it's weird because obviously you get all these these strength and conditioning coaches. They're always like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. It's a really unorthodox position. And I'm like, mate, like I've just got to grip it and fucking go because everything is off balance. A slanted pelvis. I can't drive to my right. Everything's left. Yeah, top end, I'm going to kind of arch it back a bit. So what? Unfortunately, it's just that's the cards I've got. And, at the end of the day, like, I've done a 290 deadlift off a 2-inch block with one leg. And, that...
How big is your hamstring on your left leg?
Pardon?
How big is your hamstring on your left leg? It's got to be like...
Mate, honestly, I had an MRI not so long back, and all the tendons are like double the thickness of an able body. My whole life.
That's where you get so much energy stored in there on the throw. It's just there's so much energy stored in the tendons. That's all getting into the shot.
Yeah, and then I do a squat, but I only go to 90 because as soon as if I went lower, I'd probably break my left leg. But I've done on the squat to 90. I've done 320. I could probably do a lot more though, but I don't need to do any more than that. On the one leg. Otherwise, I'm just going to break. Some numbers are like, if I keep going, I'm just going to break. And at the moment, I can't even put half my power and strength that I'm doing in the gym into the throw. That's what we've been doing the last year and a half, and I've gone backwards a bit. I mean, we got so strong last year that I do 16 10, and then I found like a 16.46 with a 7, and I couldn't even go a 15.50 with a 6. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so you lose that feeling a little.
Which is all strength. And now we've kind of thought, right, okay, we don't need to be that big. So I was like 126 kilos. And now we're coming back down to about 118.
Okay.
So which is, probably about 2 kilos lighter than I was in 2017. But I'm trying to keep my strength levels at, the weight that I was at 128. So if I can move that across the ring, do you know what I mean? And it's just trying to, at the moment, is trying to put what I'm doing in the gym into the throw. So we're just scraping the barrel. I know you guys might think that technically I'm sound, but there's still a lot of bad habits I've got, a lot of things I need to creep out on, and for me it's building confidence. Yeah,
well, I think even there, Alan, like, and we'll hound our throwers with this, is like, and we want our throwers to be technical models, right? But at the end of the day, our one discus guy goes 63.60 indoors. It's like that's the best in the world right now indoors, but he still has a whole. Yeah, so it's like I
competed against Sam.
Really?
2017 actually. Yeah.
Oh really? I didn't even. I don't even know if Sam even realizes that. But what's cool is like hearing you. You're the best to ever walk the planet. You have the best technique, and you're going, I need better technique. I need to get better. I need to improve it. And that's the fact that, like, everybody needs to hear on a regular basis is like, okay, I can be as strong as I want to be, but if my technique sucks, it doesn't matter. I can't transfer it into the throw.
Exactly. I mean, I've competed. So there's a guy at the gym that I train at, and he does strongman. I mean, and he owns his own gym. I mean, the guy's done 300 kilo raw bench. He's done stupid weights because he's a strongman. You see him throwing about these 200 kilo Atlas stones like they're marbles. And he did shot for a year, and they was like, right, we don't need to really just drop the weights, move a bit quicker, just do the technique. And he got to as good as you can in a year with the technique, and he could still only throw 13 meters.
Yeah.
Even though he's like a 300 kilo bench, you think he'd stand and throw like 17 on that.
Right.
But it was strength that wasn't. I know people like to say throw strong, but he wasn't kind of elastic enough to throw. But I think that's one thing I love about you guys as well, and I always mention it to like every throw is that I might be the world record holder, I might have done this, I might have done that, I might have taken to the sport to a depth I didn't even think I could. But I know that I can always be better, and that's not like me being harsh on myself and critical. It's that I love learning. Do you know what I mean? I come over to America all the time. We pick brains of people, me and my coach, and we're always open because there's no such thing as a perfect technical model. Like there's so many different kind of genetical athletes out there. One thing for one person is not going to work for everyone, and I always want to pick everyone's brains because I like to take a bit of that, take a bit of this, and that's why I always tell people just to, be open to learning. Yeah. You can always be a better version, and I don't say that like I don't want you to beat yourself up going, oh I'm shit, like I need to be better, but you should enjoy learning, spreading the knowledge, because at the end of the day we're all trying to do the same thing, and that's be the best version of yourself and throw something as far as possible. Right.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. All right, so that's perfect segue into our. Into the Red Hot Minute. I don't know if you watch any of our videos. I doubt you have. But what we'll do is we'll ask you. I don't have any questions, but we
got some.
We'll light them on fire, and then we're gonna ask you like 6 questions that you just basically give us like that 1 or 2 word answer, and it might end up being a long explanation. But it's to like just ask you random questions as quickly as we can, just for fun.
Okay.
Actually, I have one question even before we get into it is why don't you put your lifting videos on Instagram? Because I looked through and you don't have any up there.
I've never been that kind of guy. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I could put up videos of me benching and doing this, that, and the other, but it don't mean shit if I can't use it.
I guess, yeah.
So I'd rather
yeah, but I want to see it just so I can be like, holy shit, that's stupid.
Right.
A lot of people have asked me that, but I think there'd be a time and a place. I want to be throwing bar.
Yeah,
I'm pretty good. I don't feel like I'm scraping the barrel. Like I knew I threw 17.56, but leading up to that, I was throwing 18s all day. Like some will go in stupid far. So and that was when I was weaker than I am now. So, you know, I want to be up 19, 20 meters. Then we can talk about, you know, weights and whatnot. And there's still a shitload I want to improve on as well.
What's the Commonwealth qualification in the able bodies with the shot?
Birmingham 22. I think they're not going to put up a qualification. You just need to be in the top 38 in the Commonwealth.
Oh, okay.
So I think you have a and Alex.
Yeah, Alex goes. Yeah, and Orazio Cremona.
Oh yeah. So you know, if I can get in the top 38, I reckon close, if not over 18, will do that. I'm hoping that I'll be taken. But in Wales, Wales are quite nice to me. They look after me, so I'm hoping they're going to take me.
Okay. So you would throw for Wales then, right? Because that's okay. Yeah. I've noticed that. Like that's one thing cool. I see at the Commonwealth that they'll separate stuff like that.
Yeah. So Wales, England, Scotland, Ireland, and Northern Ireland are all different.
Okay.
You've even got the Isle of Man, and you know you got Zane who competes for Jersey and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's right. Okay.
All right, let's get into this red hot minute. So actually, this is a good segue into my first question, and this isn't a yes or no, but you can give a quick answer. Is what's the best thing about Wales?
Oh, fuck. Scenery. It's just green in the hills. It's a beautiful country.
Awesome.
If you ever come, I recommend it.
I was just gonna say we should try and figure out some way to get over there.
Some way to get to Wales.
Yeah, and do like a training
I'd be all
camp.
up for
Dude,
that.
I would be all game.
Absolutely.
Hey, honestly, you're more than welcome.
All right, so now this question is more just your enjoyment of the event, not necessarily which you are better at, but more your enjoyment of the event, shot or disc? Shot? Yeah. All right.
Do you want me to explain or no? No, you happy with that? To shot?
Yeah, give me a little short explanation.
I love the intensity. I mean,
okay.
You can't, I think
we picked up on that.
It's like applied aggression, right? You can't just go nuts out the back. It doesn't really work like that. You kind of got to keep length on the disc and be as big as orbit, like an eagle as you can. With shot, you can kind of get in there, you can lock and load and go to town, and I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Fast ring or slow ring?
Fast. Yeah, fast ring is beautiful for me because the right leg just pivots a lot quicker.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right, and I probably know which one this is, but I had down here the most energetic competition you've ever been in.
Probably London. 2017. Yeah, I mean, we didn't like.
Oh, 2017.
In the stadium.
Okay.
To be back in the stadium and have 48,000 people there, and knowing what kind of shape I was in, I knew that all I needed to do was line it up, and I could really show the world what I can do. And I always see like these major championships as platforms to show people, right, this is us. This is the opportunity. This is the only opportunity. Let's show the world what we can do. Do you know what I mean?
Right. No, that's.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is your best? What's your favorite way to mentally prepare for a comp? Like visualizing? Are you meditating? Are you listening to crazy music and growling? What are you doing?
I fuel up a lot of other athletes, so I like to create a bit of drama in the call room and whatnot. But before the comp, I'm usually just imagery. I'm in a position where I know what I needed to do to win. So for me, it's just tap into that every time. Right, I remember the best throw I did. I know what that is. I know the key points that I need to execute to throw far. So I'll have my rap music on, and I'll have my hood up. I'm sweating buckets. I'm walking around, and I'm just keeping myself to myself. I don't like to socialize. I'm just a very horrible person when it comes to competing.
I want to ask a question because we asked Darrell the same one. Wu-Tang Clan or Meek Mill?
Wu-Tang.
Yes.
I love the old school hip hop. Yeah. I mean, Meek is great, but I love the old school hip hop.
Do you have any?
As well.
Do you have any?
No, that was all I had.
Okay, I got. Okay, I got one, and this is more of a country versus country. Okay, fish and chips from Wales, or cheeseburger from the United States?
Oh, it depends on which one. But not honestly, American food all day long.
Yeah.
I only go to Arizona to eat Buffalo Wild Wings. Do you know what I mean?
That's funny.
Yeah, I eat burger all day.
All right, thanks, Alan.
Yeah,
dude,
thanks
this
a
is
lot.
awesome. I really appreciate you making the time of your day. I'm glad we got this set up and got this going.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, I do apologize that it's taken so long.
Oh.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay in touch and we'll have to do it again sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
No worries, guys.
Right.
Thank you very much.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Take care.
I thought that this camp was invaluable to my technique and how I throw.
My distance has already improved a ton.